Hello and welcome to HWW. This is very first tutorial on Solidworks series and we'll be starting from Solidworks sketches. Let's go to Solidworks now. So this is the interface when we switch on, when we start the Solidworks. This is how it look like. So from here, this is the file menu, view menu, tools menu. We'll go through all of these menus in due course of time. So for today, we'll start with creating a new file. So the new file is created by this button over here. You need to click on this, and in this you will see there are three files. In the default, you will find templates. These are customized templates. So the default templates are there like this in SolidWorks. So the very first thing which you have to see, you have to click is part file. Let's click on part. Either you can double click on it or you can single click and select OK. So now it has opened the part. So let's start with the sketches today. In the next chapter, we'll go to the models. So on this ribbon, first tab is for features, which will go later on. But today we'll be going through sketches. So this is how sketches looks like. So in the sketches, we have two options. One is sketch, which is 2D sketch, and next is 3D sketch. So if we click on 2D sketch, it shows the plane to select. It asks for the plane. So it's a good practice to select the plane accurately so that the final product which you make comes in correct orientation. So because it's just a tutorial for now, for sketches, so we'll be selecting top plane. Okay. So next to it, we have smart dimensions, which are like for defining the sketches which we do. Let's start with this area today. So this is the line command. In this we have line, center line and midpoint line. So what are the difference between? Line is just a single line. To create any sketch, you need a line. So like this, it works. So this is the origin point, which you can call as a reference point for you. And once you are done with the sketch, then we can start using sketch dimensions, smart dimensions. Click on this, click 50 and say 100. So this is defined sketch now. So what is the difference between a defined sketch and non-defined sketch? From visibility, it is like the entities turn black, and without definition, it is the one which is having blue color is not defined entity. And of course, you can see that this endpoint is also blue. This means this endpoint is also not defined. So if I drag it, it can go up and down because the point is not defined and the line is not defined. But it cannot go sideways because it is defined in that direction. And by default, because while drawing the line, it automatically tries to apply the constraints to it. What are constraints? We'll come to that later. But for now, you can understand constraint is another kind of definition for any kind of entity. So if you see this means vertical constraint. This is an horizontal constraint. So by simply moving the sketch, you can understand in which direction it is not defined. So to define it, we will put another dimension to it. So this is not fully defined. So like this, we can define a sketch, and that's the line command in it. So now we do escape to come out of the command, and I'll do delete. Select all, press delete. Next is center line. So center line is nothing but just a construction line, you can call it. It's basically, you can call it, it's a reference geometry. So if I have to draw something in reference to it, for example, if I have drawn a rectangle over here, so it is a kind of reference to it. Like this. So it's basically to help you create the complete geometry. Let's delete this. So next is the midpoint line. Midpoint line, as the name says, there's a middle point in the line into which it is divided. So as you can see, I'm pulling it into one direction and it is being mirrored on the other direction also. So now it is black because it has picked up horizontal constant automatically because of its snap settings. So say 20. Now you see there's nothing blue in it. So it is a good practice to have everything defined. Otherwise, there are chances then when you change one dimension and if there's any undefined geometry in the sketch, it may get distorted. So escape and select delete. So we are now, this all was the line command. Now is the corner rectangle. So in the corner rectangle, you have to select two corners to make a rectangle. So one is this, and those are diagonal corners. Second is this. Again, we can define it as usual. We can put some dimensions on it. And we can say 100 like this. So this is it in the rectangular tool. So in the rectangle, we have got 5 options. So this was corner rectangle. Then we have center rectangle, in which we can select center of a rectangle and a corner. 3-point corner rectangle means we can select any 3 points to make a rectangle. 3-point center rectangle, 1 center and 2 corner, two points on the rectangle, and then the parallelogram. That is also kind of 3-point rectangle, but it's a parallelogram. So like this. So this is all in rectangle command. Now we come to the slot command. So slots, we have got four type of slots. One is straight slot. We can select like this. Next is center point straight slot. So center point of the slot, and next is like this. And then 3-point arc slot. So this is 3-point arc slot. Center point arc slot. So this is center point arc slot. So we have got center and an arc. So this was all in the slot command. Slots are very useful when you do some plates and you want to make a slot. Instead of making 2 lines and then making circles, it is an effective tool. Circles, now we have circles. So circles, we have got 2 options. Center circle, select the center, select the point on the perimeter of the circle. So you see it's blue because it is not defined at all. We can simply drag it and drop it. You see it is actually automatically snapping it. It has already been constrained. It's still blue because there is another dimension which is the radius you have to add. So now you see it has turned black because it is fully defined now. So the other command in it is Another command in this is perimeter circle. Perimeter circle means you have got 3 points and then done. 3 points on the perimeter of the circle. Like this, it is the perimeter circle. Next is there are arcs. So arcs can be done by 3 ways. Center point arc, tangent arc, 3-point arc. Center point means you have to first select the center, then the 2 end points of the arc. 1, 2. So in this you have to see it goes 1, 2, 1, 2. So like this, arcs are made in this. So next you can do arc, a tangent arc. So what is a tangent arc? Basically, if there is a line already there in the sketch and you have to make an arc tangent to it, then it is used. So if you have to do, you see anywhere I go, the start point of it is actually tangent to the existing line. So it has already picked up the tangent constraints. Next is 3-point arc. So what is 3-point arc? Any random 3 points on an arc is a 3-point arc. So in this, if you see, if I start like this, so it is actually a 3-point arc, just 3 points on the arc. Next, we have the polygon command. Polygon command, we have to define a center. So if you see it's a pentagon, if you want to change it, the number of sides, you can enter the value here. Say, let's do it 10. So we have got 10 sides polygon. And if you want to change it to construction, you can click on it. And now you see all the lines are turned into construction lines. This is spline. Spline, we have 3 types of it. The spline is basically a random line, but it's not a straight line, you can call it a random path. So I haven't used it much, but there are cases when it is used and it is very useful tool. So style spline, we have got tangents to the spline path in this case. So basically, you can adjust the spline with the help of these tangent lines. Equation driven curve is a bit complex command for the beginners. We'll take it up later in the upcoming lessons. Same is with the ellipse. Ellipse, as the name, ellipse. Same is with the ellipse. Ellipse, we have to select a center. Let's make a defined ellipse. Center, first end point, second end point, and we are done. This is how ellipse is done. Ellipse, then partial ellipse, as the name suggests. It's not a complete ellipse, it's a partial ellipse. Like this. So first you define the ellipse, then you define the part of ellipse. And you can always define them with dimensions. And parabola, conic are the similar curves. You can simply click on the center or somewhere else also. It is similar to the ellipse. Okay, next is the fillet command and the chamfer command. So what is fillet? Fillet is basically rounding of the corners. So once you make a sketch like this, and if you want to turn the corners round, so before this I would define this. Let's say it's 100, and let's say it's 200. So before this I would be rounding of the corners And so it says entities to fillet and the parameter. So the value is 10 mm. So I'll be, if I select this, so you see the corner fillet has geometry relations which will be deleted if you want to continue. Yes. So if you say, if you click on the keep constraint on corners, let's see what happens. You see that the sketch is still constrained while the entity is not there. So it is how it happens. But what happens if I don't click this? And then, okay, let's do it again. And if I, okay, you see this time it has turned blue because that reference point, that corner is actually deleted. So this is an important thing to keep in mind while doing this. So there is a difference between the two. So if you keep the corners constrained, the sketch will still remain the constraint. If you don't do that, then it will happen. And what about this? If I keep this and if I don't keep this, and now if I have to, let's first add the dimension again. It's 100 now. And now if I do the fillet, and if I have unchecked it now, let's see how what happens. So I have turned off, it is still dimensioning it. Okay, so this was fillet. So let's come out of this command. The other is sketch chamfer. So sketch chamfer is similar. It's basically, in this case, you're not rounding the corners. We are actually chopping that off. So the first option is angle distance, distance. So in distance, once you select the entities, this is what it does. So we have got two distances. And if you turn equal distance, then it means you just give the one single value and then it will chamfer accordingly. If we uncheck it and change the value, then it will chamfer according to that value. So it is 20, it is 50. But if angle and distance means one is the angle and the other is the distance from the corner. So let's make it say 60. You see, 60 is the distance and this 45 is the angle to it. So we are done with the fillet and the chamfer also. Now coming on to the next is the text command. So into which if we have to add some text, then we have to, let's say, sketch. You see, we have selected a curve to align it and then we have typed it. Now if you want to change the font of the sketch or the size of it, what you have to do? To change the size of it, if it is 3.5, I want to make it 6.5. Okay, the size has changed. If I have to do the font change also, that is also possible. See, font have also changed. This is how it is done. Let's come out of the command. So next is point command. Point command is nothing but just we are adding some point, some random point. This command is actually very useful when we don't get any kind of reference point on the body on the 3D model where we need it. So you can randomly put any point anywhere and you can simply dimension it. So like this. So this is, you can also define this, of course, giving x and y. So yeah. So these all were the, you can say, primarily used command in the sketch. There are few other commands also, like trim entities, convert entities, and offset entities. This we'll be doing in the next video. Okay, that was it for today. I hope I was able to give you a start. Stay tuned for the next videos. We'll take you further from here. Leave your comments if you have any suggestions. Thank you for your time. See you.